would like to discuss something really, really important today, something that's impacting many lives out there, including ours, which is hatred. Hatred is something that we've all become accepting of. Hatred towards people, towards ethnicities, towards others, even hatred towards ourselves, or just disliking everything, disliking everyone, gossip, complaining about everyone, finding everyone's flaws, judging everyone, looking down on everyone because we're better, we're always better. Um, and also, not just on a global scale, not only on a national scale, not on a different like type of scale, even in our own homes, with our own families, there is hatred. There's misunderstandings or like a lot of confusion, a lot of like tension, and a lot of like disliking. In all of these things, and specifically in the focus of these specific things, such as hatred, there's a big absence of love. And even if there is any love, it's clouded by hatred, it's clouded by disliking, and it's clouded by a mask of despair. And it's not well received. So when you're basically having these negative thoughts, or there's hatred, or there's something in your heart, the love that you receive, you're not able to receive it because you've blocked its way to reach to you, because you are not receiving of it, and because you're not accepting of the love because you're focused on something else. Now, it's something that we obviously like we see as like human nature, that we can't like everyone, or like that everyone's imperfect and everything. That's a part. It's okay to get angry at others, it's okay to be frustrated with people, it's okay to dislike one another, leave one another when things get tough. But I want to go into something else today. This is what's normal, that's normalized, that there are people that we should just cut contact of when they mess up. It's a very general thing, and some people get the right approach and others don't, because it's a quite complicated theme. However, I would like to go into telling you that hatred, and confusing things, and disliking people, and hurting others, harming others, whether intentionally or not, is not a good, and you know that yourself. However, we when these things occur, where you have family problems, where everyone's toxic, when all of these things happen, the thing that we do which causes more problems is that we engage with them. We foster them. In fact, the fact we engage with them actually creates more tension. Um, and there's another thing that you need to be aware of. Are you looking at yourself too? Because sometimes everyone is right. So you might be right, you are right, but the other person is right too. And their behavior is justified because they see you. And most of the time, it's very raw, but we don't see ourselves. So, is this the case? And is there any bias involved? Because sometimes in our subconscious or in our mind, we come up with a certain image of something or someone, which can literally break relationships, break something, because it becomes a confirmational bias. No matter what a person does, you only see their actions through a lens that you want to see. And this also ties in with perspectives of like your upbringing and all of this. And this is exactly when people are married or they're in relationships, there's problems because they come up from different backgrounds and have different worldviews. Um, and more, there's one more issue. So, are you feeding it? How are you responding to disputes? If someone is irresponsible and you're constantly being like, oh my gosh, you're so irresponsible, you might be right. They are irresponsible. but you're not in their shoes. So we tend to become like little gods or like judges who assume that we have to solve conflicts by pointing them out in the harshest way possible, because those people who tend to do this, if they were talked in the same manner, they would feel offended very, very easily, and they would take it very personally. Why? Because they know what they're doing, or they might not know what they're doing, but they get offended if they're treated the same way. So that's very important. It's about how you approach situations as well. If there's a family or there's people who are backbiting, harming other people, in that case, again, don't have to act, just pull yourself back and become gentle. And in doing so, you will be more aligned with whatever is good for you and good for others. Engaging in these type of things also creates a lot of pressure to achieve something that is going to create more hatred, jealousy. There's so many type of problems, especially in friendships, like hatred, inner hatred, or faked attempt to achieve something. Fake trying to gain validation in a fake manner, which isn't actually for you. It's about the approval and validation of a social group. And this actually creates hatred too, because then you collectively hate something and you're not thinking it through. Um, and these are social constructs that like we people make without realizing them, but they're just as harmful as anything else. So you have to be careful when you're approaching any of these negative situations. And also, very important is that if you're a people pleaser, you like to keep peace, this is very good, but you're supposed to also express things if they're not good, if they're not right, in a very concise manner. Now, what am I saying? Don't include language that is overly emotionally charged, that is going to get a trigger reaction from a different person. Well, it also depends on the people you're talking to. If there's someone who's always argumentative or charged, or they're going through a lot of mental dispute, basically they're constantly overthinking, thinking negatively, it will affect, like anything you say will go through 100 filters to reach them, right? So you have to be careful with this. You have to maybe speak to them in a softer manner, in a way they'll understand, but that also depends on their egos. And then there's other type of people that when you're discussing anything with them, or you want to talk to them about anything or make something clear, because you have to be fair towards yourself, you have to be fair towards others, and if there's unfairness, you have to work for, you have to fight for fairness, right? Especially concerning yourself and others. And not let people throw you around, push you around the way you don't push others around, right? So it goes both ways. You don't let others do that to you either. It's unfair towards you, and if you do it to others, it's unfair towards others. So in that case, there's people who have more of an ego mindset. They think a person who's more reserved, more mysterious, more calm, more like focused on themselves are more respectable. So it's just psychology. And those people who are just easily focused or brought into the whole psychology game, when it comes to those people, you have to talk in a more like dominant manner. You have to say what you mean and mean what you say. Be yourself. Do not be overly apologetic. So it depends on those types of people, because there's the emotional people who, if you talk to them a certain way, they'll put all their defenses up and think that you're trying to attack them. And there's other people that if you stand your ground and you talk to them very clearly, never be rude, never use a bad word to describe anyone. You have to be honorable in your speech, you have to be concise, but you have to be in a way that you mean what you say and say what you mean, and you have to be able to prove it. That makes you a strong person, and that's where no one can really get to you. And if you're being fair, if you're being good, no one's gonna sway you or like push you into like arguments that are not helping anyone. For example, if you're arguing with someone and someone's arguing with you and it's not making any sense, You have to be the calm person. You have to understand, okay, let's have a communication, or let's take time off to process things, and let's write each other instead of talking to each other face to face. This is a very like honorable, caring act that you're doing for both of you, and not trying to get your point across. Because what happens with arguments and hatred is we always trying to get our point across without listening, because we think that we know and we have to get our point across. But you never know that you can learn so much when you're just silent and receiving. And when you're receiving, don't take it personally. Don't take it as, oh, the world hates me, the people hate me. No, you have to see things as they are without including too much of your emotion and taking it personally. Because whatever you take personally, it's the way you see yourself. It's basically how you perceive your self-worth. When anyone says anything to you, it's your self-worth that you can control by talking nicely to yourself. So you have to be kind to yourself. You have to take care of yourself, and whatever comes from the outside is not going to bother you, and you're going to see things more clearly if others are argumentative, and you would know how to solve problems when it comes to people if you've understood and accepted yourself. So that's a very important part of hatred, disliking, all of these malicious things that we accidentally get into, fighting with the people that we actually love, and that causes families to break, friendships to break, a lot of drama, a lot of like toxicity in relationships. And this is how you untangle the toxicity. You look at yourself, okay? So thank you very much for watching, and make sure to have a good time, and see you next time. Thank you.